The Piscatorial Tale. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about the kayak that I've been using in my videos, give you a bit of an insight on how it's set up and all the features that it has. So let's get into it. Okay, so moving from the front, I've got the small hatch at the front here. In here it's just a twist lock, and it has some sunscreen, some bug spray, a knife, and all of my leaders that I need for the day. Then moving further down, I've got my sounder. It's a Garmin Striker. It's actually quite a good little unit for the price that you pay. I've been really happy with that so far. It's definitely helped me find a lot more fish around since then. What I've done to hook it up is I've put a very small hole just in the side here where this little compartment is. I've pushed the power and the transducer cable around. I've got a Railblazer HD mount here with the Railblazer another mount here, and then the Garmin mount just there. And I've centered it right in the middle of the kayak because it's probably the one spot that's clear of all my feet. Moving further down, I've got the cup holder. It's currently just holding all my bungs and everything. In here is the bigger hatch. This one I use for multiple things. At the moment it's got the tray with a whole heap of lures in it. Usually when I go freshwater fishing I try to keep my lures down to as minimal as possible. So that's what I have. And underneath here is where I've got the transducer mounted. It's siliconed in and then held in with a bit of foam so it doesn't wobble around. Just up on the side up there, it's a bit hard to see, I've got the another foam mount for the battery. This is the battery here, just a Sentry Pro Series 12 volt 7 amp battery. I can go on a few trips on it before I need to charge it up again, which is quite handy, but most of the time that's there instead of the soft bag that it came with. Moving back over here, I've got the standard Railblazer port with the cleat and then the rod holder. I like this one quite a lot because it allows me to flip the end up so I can put a longer rod through if I'm fishing offshore using a bigger rod and reel, and then I can turn it over and lock my rods in as well, so I don't need any lanyards at this end here. So going down here, I've got my seat. It's from Freak as well. It's the thicker padded one as well. Really good, helps the backside, but I do throw a cushion on top of it as well if I'm going on a really long trip. Moving further down, this is the back part of the kayak. In here I usually keep some spare fishing gear, thongs, a cooler bag, my net, grips, and the drag mat. Quite handy to have as well. You'll see that everything that I've got comes with lanyards, and if they don't come with a lanyard I'll make one and stick it to it somehow. So everything's on. I can't count the amount of times that this has fallen overboard and it's just been dragging. It's not till I look behind me, and thankfully it's been stuck onto the kayak. I've also got these little lanyards here. These are quite handy. They're velcro strapped. I leave them here because what they do is they hold the rods in while I'm paddling, and then it stops them from falling out, which is quite handy because as you bring your paddle down the side of the kayak, you find that if your reel is hanging over the side, it'll pop out and then you end up with a sinking rod, which you don't want. Then right at the back I've also got this. It's a Railblazer visibility kit. It's quite a long one. I enjoy having the longer one because it makes me a little bit more visible to everybody that is in a boat or a jet ski, because we all know that they don't really keep an eye out. Up the top it's just got an on and off switch. I can turn it on low, high, low, and then a flashing mode as well. Quite easy to use, and that's mounted on with a Railblazer side port. Over this side I've just got my stock standard Freak paddle. It's a two-piece one, so you can see just here I push that in, take it out, and it will separate into two, which is very handy while traveling. So these are the standard things that I keep on the kayak. What I'll do now is show you the things that I carry additionally that make my trip a little bit easier. Okay, so the other accessories that I have is the life jacket. This one is a Marlin competitor. Well, it's not a legal requirement in Queensland to wear one. I still do for obvious safety reasons. I like this one quite a lot because it's got mesh on the shoulders, so it's not as bulky and it gives me a full range of movement while I'm paddling. This one was a particular favourite of mine because it has all the extra pockets to allow me to store some things in. On this pocket here, I keep all of my tools. So I've got a pair of scissors and a small pair of pliers to get into the fish's mouth or pull some barbs out. I've also got on this side another pouch. I don't really keep anything in here, just a spare dry bag in case I need it for any number of reasons. Over here I've got a homemade camera mount. This is just a piece of timber mounted to the camera bit while I work on another DIY project to mount it somewhere else in the kayak. But yes, this is quite a good life jacket, easy to wear, not too bulky like some of the other life jackets around. Another thing that I carry with me when I go out is a simple bucket for multiple reasons. I use it as a sea anchor, so it's just a cheap 80 cent bucket from Bunnings tied to 2 bits of rope here. The reason I have 2 bits of rope is if I'm fishing a dam or somewhere where there's lots of structure and I want to hold myself to a tree, I can use the 1 bit of rope if I want to be able to move around, or I can have the 2 bits and tie myself at 2 ends to hold myself in one stable position. This bucket is really good as a sea anchor, also as a kill bucket. If I catch something, I can fill it up with water, place my kill in it until it's properly dispatched. So that's always handy to have. I usually keep that up at the front of the kayak. The other thing that I have, and I use this particularly if I'm going to be paddling around in strong current or anything like that, I have the anchor here. This is the Cooper anchor, and it is the medium-sized one here. If you ever need to, you can put more weights in there, but the weight on this is quite good. Down to a simple D-shackle there. And a little while ago I taught myself how to splice some rope just to keep the weight down. So I've spliced a loop into it and it's quite strong. I've put all my weight on it and it hasn't budged at all. And then down to a really big, hand casting reel. This is the biggest one I could find. I like it because of the handle here and the handle here. It allows me to wind the anchor back up if there's a bit of current or anything. This has held me in every single situation, fresh water, salt water, lots of current, no current. It's done a job, so really recommend having one of these around if you're going to want to stay in one spot for a really long period of time. Then another thing that I also keep with me is this here. This is the thing that probably saves your back if you're travelling to and from the boat ramp if you've got a bit of a walk to go. This that simply fits into the 2 holes in the front or the back of the kayak, wherever you want to put it, slides down, locks in so it doesn't roll around, and you can just wheel it on its merry way. Really handy thing to have. Picked this up at a garage sale, really good, $5, can't complain. Okay guys, well that's it for this week's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions about the setup that I have here, just put in a comment down below and I'll answer it as soon as I can. Otherwise, give us a thumbs up and a subscribe, and I'll catch you next week.